Welcome back to Dial a Dietitian. Today we're talking with Parisa Mohammad, who works in school food service in California. So hey guys, I am here with Parisa from California today. So Parisa, go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know why you decided to become a dietitian and what inspired you.
Sure. So hi everyone, my name is Parisa Mohammad and I work in school food service. I'm a school nutrition specialist and registered dietitian. So the reason I got into nutrition is when I was in high school, I watched one of those really terrible food documentaries that if I watched now, I'd probably think very differently of, but I decided to become a vegetarian in high school. And I just started learning about like the different vitamins and minerals and things that I would need, like iron or B12. And I found it really interesting. So I started kind of doing more research on it. I also started cooking a lot more because my family, still ate meat. And so I kind of had to fend for myself and making vegetarian recipes. So I was like bringing tofurkey to Thanksgiving dinner and like tofu recipes and stuff like that. So I just kind of started cooking, and I saw that they had a program at my local college for a diet tech program. So I did that for 2 years, and I decided I wanted to work in the field first to see if it's something that I really liked. So I worked at a skilled nursing facility for about 5 years, and then I decided that I wanted to pursue my bachelor's degree and become a registered dietitian.
Great. So since you became a registered dietitian, what sorts of job positions or projects have you taken part in?
So after the skilled nursing facility, I had a lot of food service management experience from that position, and I applied for internships, which, as you know, they're really competitive to get into. And my first time applying, I didn't get in. And a week later, I was like so devastated. I was thinking, I'm never going to become a dietitian. But a week later, I found a position for a Head Start that just wanted a bachelor's degree. So I applied for that, and I worked as a nutrition coordinator for Head Start for about a year. So I got a lot of experience working in schools and managing special diets for preschool children, and doing nutrition education for low-income families. And I really fell in love with that. And when I was working there, I went to a training for smarter lunchrooms. And I remember just thinking it was so interesting. So smarter lunchrooms is like it's out of Cornell, and it's a behavior economics program where they use choice architecture to help students choose healthier items in the classrooms or in the cafeterias. And so I just thought it's so interesting how you can apply different psychology to help kids make better decisions in schools. And at that time, I'd just gotten into Utah State, which their internship emphasizes school nutrition. So I did my school rotation about an hour away from where I was living in San Diego at the time, in Murrieta. And when I was working or interning there, they said, hey, we think we're going to have a position available next year, and we would love for you to apply. So I loved the people there, and it was a really great district to work for. So I took that position, and I've been there for about a year and a half. And I just finished my master's degree through Utah State too in December. And then I just finished my school nutrition certification also. So it's been a really great opportunity to get into schools, which I was just telling you, I never thought that that's like where my career would take me, but it's been a really great ride.
Definitely, yeah. So that's really cool then, how your position at Head Start tied in with what you ended up doing and kind of took you down a different path.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wanted to be a dietitian because I thought I wanted to work in outpatient and do counseling or work in a hospital. And it's like I took all the positions that were not at all what I thought I would be working in, and it ended up working out really well.
Yeah, definitely, really cool. And it goes to show that there's a lot of opportunities in the fields in the field of dietetics that you might not be aware of, but might be, a really good fit.
Yeah, I mean, it's so broad. There's so many things you can do with our field. I feel like you'll never get bored. There's always things that you never even thought of that dietitians can do. So
definitely. So what most excites you about your work in nutrition?
So in my current position, I do a lot of I manage special diets, so students who have celiac disease or allergies. I create menus. I do recipe testing. We do a lot of outreach to students, parents. I oversee the wellness committee. And I just remember I applied to 2 positions right after I finished my internship. One was for the school district and one was in clinical, and they both called me back. And I just remember thinking it'd be so cool to have a position where I get to impact what 13,000 kids each day eat, as opposed to maybe counting like 8 people a day. And so it's such a cool feeling to know that if I put like falafels on the menu, or I do marketing on benefits of incorporating legumes in your diet, then that's going to make an impact in students for the rest of their life. And it's so much better of an opportunity to get them to try and taste things than it is just to do nutrition education. Like you just learn so much more when it's hands-on and you get to try different foods. So I love the aspect of school food service, because we're not limiting or taking things away, kind of like you are in clinical setting. I know it always feels so bad, like doing counseling with someone who's in their 80s and telling them they had to follow a low sodium diet or limit their fat intake. And so it's just a really cool opportunity to be able to just let kids try different foods. And it's super meaningful, because I mean, there's so many kids that we don't really think about it, but here in the US, 1 in 5 children is dealing with food insecurity. And I mean, in the district that I work in, it's pretty high or low, free and reduced. But so many other counties, I mean, kids just don't have enough to eat. I think I was reading something that said like 60% of food insecure houses participate in federal food assistance programs. But what about the other 40% that don't know about those programs, or they're not getting benefits or things like that? So it's really meaningful work to know that we're feeding kids that might not have any other means of food at home.
Definitely, yeah. And it's really rewarding to, well, we both during our internship worked in school food systems. Mm-hmm. So I have a little bit of experience too. And I remember it is just really rewarding to think about the changes you make or the education you put out there can impact so many lives all at once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, these are meals that kids are eating every day for like 12 years. I mean, if you're meeting with somebody in their 20s or 30s or 40s or as an adult, it's like there's no way to have that big of an impact as you would for all those meals that they're eating with you. So it's a huge responsibility, but it's also a really, really cool feeling to know that I'm making that big of an impact.
Definitely. So if someone is thinking about becoming a dietitian, what would be kind of your first line of advice for them?
I would say meet other dietitians and see kind of what their take on their position is, because it's such a broad program to be a dietitian. I think back when I was like 18, 19, and I was like, I want to be a dietitian, I just thought, well, I'm just going to be doing counseling, or like you see dietitians on the news who are doing like cooking demos. And that's like 1% of what dietitians actually do. And I was watching some YouTube video recently where a girl just finished her internship, and she was like, being a dietitian wasn't really what I expected it to be. And I kind of understand where she's coming from, because I feel like your undergrad doesn't really prepare you for all the different roles that you could work in. And you would never think about being a critical care dietitian or being a dietitian in a dialysis center, but in your undergrad, they might not introduce you to all those different settings. So I would just look and see what jobs are available in your area and kind of see, is that something that I really want to do? Maybe just send an email to the local dietitian that works at a job that you see and ask if you can come shadow them, and just really take as many opportunities as you can. Like, I never thought I wanted to work in food service. I remember taking those classes and thinking, this is not for me. And then every job that I've ever had is in food service, and I love it. I don't think I could ever do something that was just like clinical based, where there's not a lot of creativity. You're just kind of doing numbers and analyzing things. So I'm really grateful that I took those positions that I didn't really think I was going to love, because it kind of led me to here.
Definitely. So if we are wanting to connect with you a little bit more, tell us where we can connect with you.
So I do a lot of marketing. I'm actually, next year, I'm going to be the marketing chair for the Southern California chapter for School Nutrition Association. So we have a website called Eat Smart to Be Smart, and it's Eat Smart, the number 2, besmart.org. So you can kind of see all the different things that Southern California School Nutrition Operations are putting out there. You can also follow us on Facebook or Instagram on Marietta School Nutrition, and you can see all the different lunch items that we're preparing for students, nutrition outreach. And school meals have just come such a long way from even when I was in high school. It's so different. I mean, we have things like hummus plates and falafel and Caesar salads and salad bars at all of our schools. So I think that school nutrition gets a kind of a bad rep, and a lot of dietitians don't think that they want to work in that field, but we have such a great opportunity to make changes and to provide nutrition education and promotion to students. And that's really something that's gonna stay with them for the rest of their lives.
Definitely. Cool. And we will link all of that stuff down below for you guys, and I'll have it coming across the screen too. So thank you so much, Parisa, for speaking with us today. We really appreciate it, and thanks for sharing your experience working in school food service.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Next week on Dial a Dietitian.
Mostly I work on the med-surg floor, but I also am currently covering the rehab floor that we have inpatient, and then sometimes on the weekends I get to cover some of the burn unit and the ICU floors, which are exciting because it keeps me on my toes a little bit more.